The girl was riding her bike downhill when suddenly the brakes failed. The rapidly descending bike nearly knocked over a pedestrian. But the misfortune didn't end there. It was exactly 4 p.m. The train was entering the station, and the railway crossing gates were lowering, blocking the road. However, because her bike's brakes weren't working, she couldn't stop. She crashed hard into the barrier, and her body was thrown into the air. In that moment, Annie realized time seemed to freeze. Soon, she found herself back a few seconds earlier.
So, you gonna say something? The very least you can do is give an apology.
Annie was an ordinary high school student, but today, she was having the worst luck. She had missed her alarm that morning and almost ended up late for school. During a surprise test, she fell asleep and only woke up 5 minutes before the exam ended, scoring just 9 points. In cooking class, Annie accidentally started a fire. While walking home, a boy bumped into her and knocked her down. Later, in the lab, Annie was startled by a shadowy figure, losing her balance and falling to the floor. Her elbow hit a walnut-sized button, and in an instant, her body plummeted downward. The space around her twisted as if entering a time tunnel. When Annie returned to reality, she found herself once again on the floor of the lab, as if everything that happened was just a hallucination. It wasn't until she was on her way home that the real accident occurred. With her handbrake still malfunctioning, she crashed into a barrier and was about to collide with an oncoming train. But then, a miracle happened. When Annie regained consciousness, she discovered she had traveled back to a few minutes before, to the moment when she had almost collided with the woman she had nearly hit earlier. Time had returned to 4 p.m. To understand what had happened to her, she sought help from her aunt, who worked at the museum. Her aunt explained that she had experienced a time travel phenomenon. Back home, Annie wanted to trigger the time travel again. She realized that the collision had been the catalyst. Wanting to relive the experience, she slammed herself hard into the wall. She ended up with a large bump on her head, but time didn't freeze. Annie thought of making the impact greater by jumping out of the window, but her little sister saw her and, thinking she was about to commit suicide, stopped her. Annie ran out of the house and rushed to the riverbank. There, she quickly triggered the time travel switch again. The moment she jumped into the river, time froze. The next second, she found herself back home.